When I turned 18, I was forced into marriage. Nobody told me it was with my sister. I remember the day so clearly, my 18th birthday. A day that was supposed to be filled with excitement, with freedom, with the beginning of adulthood. But instead, it marked the start of a nightmare that I still can't fully comprehend. It was a cold, rainy morning, the kind where the air felt heavy and oppressive. My parents had been acting strangely all week, keeping their conversations in hushed whispers, avoiding direct answers whenever I asked what the big plans were for my birthday. I should have known something was off, but I didn't press them. I assumed they were planning some kind of surprise, maybe a party or a gift. But when I woke up that morning, everything felt wrong. There were no birthday wishes, no decorations, no sense of celebration. My parents told me we were going on a family trip, and to pack a bag. That's when the anxiety really hit me, that gnawing feeling in the pit of my stomach. I tried asking them where we were going, but they brushed me off. We drove for hours, farther away from our hometown, into a rural area I'd never been to before. The car ride was silent, the kind of silence that felt intentional, like there were things being left unsaid. Eventually we pulled up to an old, decrepit building in the middle of nowhere. It looked like a chapel, but not the kind you'd see in any normal town. The windows were grimy, the paint peeling, and there was an air of neglect around the whole place. As we got out of the car, I saw a group of people waiting outside. They were all dressed in black, their faces grim, their eyes cold. Among them was a man I'd never seen before, wearing a long black coat, standing at the entrance like he was expecting us. "Mom, Dad, what is this?" I asked, my voice shaking. Neither of them answered. My dad grabbed my arm and guided me toward the chapel. "It's time," he said, his tone emotionless. "This is something you have to do." "Time for what?" I demanded, pulling away, panic starting to rise in my chest. "What the hell is going on?" My mother finally looked at me, but there was no warmth in her eyes. "You'll understand soon." I didn't understand. I didn't understand any of it. But I was led inside, my heart pounding in my chest, my mind racing with a million questions. The inside of the chapel was dimly lit, candles flickering along the walls. At the front, there was an altar, and standing beside it was a girl, her face veiled, her hands trembling. The man in the black coat stood at the altar, motioning for me to come forward. "This is your duty," he said, his voice deep and hollow, like the words were being dragged out of him. "You are of age now. The time has come." I looked at my parents, desperate for answers, but they wouldn't meet my eyes. I could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on me, suffocating me. The air in the room felt thick, like I was drowning in it. "What is this?" I repeated, my voice cracking. "I didn't agree to this." "You don't have to agree," the man said, stepping forward. "It is already decided." Suddenly, the girl in the veil stepped closer, her hands shaking as she reached out to take mine. I hesitated, but the forceful grip of my father on my shoulder pushed me forward. The veil obscured her face, but there was something eerily familiar about her, something that made my skin crawl. She didn't speak, didn't make a sound. She just stood there, waiting. The man began speaking in a language I didn't recognize, and as he did, I felt a wave of dread wash over me. My mind was screaming at me to run, to get out of there, but my body wouldn't move. It was like I was trapped, caught in some horrible spell. And then, just as the ceremony reached its climax, the veil was lifted. My breath caught in my throat. It was her. It was my sister, Emily. My whole world shattered in that moment. My legs nearly gave out beneath me as I stared at her, my heart racing with confusion, disbelief, and horror. Emily, my little sister, the girl I'd grown up with, the person I'd shared everything with, standing there in front of me, in a wedding dress. I backed away, stumbling over my words, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. What the hell is this? What's going on?" Emily didn't say anything. She couldn't even look at me. Her eyes were full of tears, her hands trembling at her sides. I looked at my parents, hoping, praying for some kind of explanation. But they just stood there, cold and distant, like this was something normal, something they had accepted a long time ago. My dad stepped forward, his voice calm and measured. "This is the way it has always been. You were born into this, into our family's arrangement. You are bound to her now, in marriage. This is how we protect ourselves, how we continue our bloodline." I felt like I was going to be sick. "This is insane. You can't just..."